What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Passive Tree podcast dedicated talk about life, Path of Exile 2, and everything in between. Tonight on episode 34, I'm joined by a fellow content creator, streamer, and one of the best speedrunners in Path of Exile 2. He's none other than Guy That Dies. Welcome on, and how are you doing today, sir?
Yo, what up? Going good?
Nice. Yeah, so I left for the weekend, but before the weekend started, basically, I think it was Friday, the second win private league started, and word basically started going around really quickly that you had a bounty going on for $1,000 to hit level 100. So I actually don't know the outcome of this. So please, I would love for you to fill me in on what went down.
Okay. Yeah, so the $1,000 bounty thing, basically I just wanted something interesting to do for the weekend. And I was hoping that I could get some interesting streaming content going. So I did a $1,000 bounty to level 100. My highest level character before that was level 95. So, I'd never done this before. And then we ended up actually losing by a few hours. We were 10 minutes behind the rank 1 guy at level 99, 70% XP. But the main temple guy in my team bricked his temple by looping it at the end. We would have lost anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, we would have lost by 10 minutes anyways if he didn't loop his temple.
Oh no, dude. Okay, and so who was the person that actually won the $1,000?
I think his character name was Pofin.
Okay. Did you know him previously, or was it just kind of like a guy who just came out of nowhere?
I'd never heard of him.
Okay, so he had the tech on lock. So talk to me a bit about the experience about like going to level 100, or I guess going to level 100. Like, was it something that you anticipated would be like an easy feat in a couple days, or what was your kind of mindset going into it, basically?
So I went into it thinking it would definitely not take longer than 4 days, and it would probably take 3 days. It ended up taking we got it very early on in day 3. So a little bit faster than I expected, to be honest. Which is actually crazy because my team made so many mistakes. We bricked all of our temples multiple times on every person's character. We had 3 temple guys. So we had 2 guys with like a fast temple to start getting EXP in like day 1, and like parts of day 2, and then a long-term temple guy to set up the temple for like the final push. Okay. All 3 of them basically bricked their temples multiple times throughout the run.
Oh, no.
So the temple we ended up using on day 3, we basically started building it on day 2 because it got bricked on day 2. So yeah, we had like the 3 temples, and then we had me, obviously, who was just like, finishing the campaign fast, getting to T15s, farming gear to run the temple. And then we had like some supports like Rarity Bot and Curse Bot, and also a guy like crafting all our gear for us.
Damn, it sounds like you guys were pretty organized. Do you think that like if the multiple breaking of the temples actually didn't happen, that would have shaved off enough time to basically put you in first at like the 10-minute mark that you were kind of talking about?
We made so many mistakes. It was crazy. Our biggest mistake was just being complacent, because the rank 1 guy had a completely different strategy to us. I mean, a strategy that we knew existed, but we were just kind of complacent. So the strategy he went for was just building his temple. So he was like level 90 on day 3, basically. And then he went from 90 to 100 with the Giga Juice temple in like 8 hours. Jesus. Which we knew that strategy existed, but we were just super complacent.
I got you.
We didn't put all of our effort into it. Like, if he was going for the same strategy as us, or we were going for the same strategy as him, I'm pretty sure we would have won. Just because we wouldn't have been complacent, because we could like compare how we're doing to other people. But when you're like 2 levels up, when you're like level 98 and the next person's level 97, you're like, oh, we've got this in the fucking bag,
Honestly, dude, it's kind of crazy how good the temple is. Like, I was trying to do 100, like the full natural, all natural way, homegrown, organic, mapping XP.
Oh yeah.
And dude, the grind was feeling pretty rough. I ended up like switching my build to level 99 to kind of make it more enjoyable, because I did nades up to level 99. And then I had a bunch of people like in my community being like, why aren't you doing the temple. Like the temple is just so much better. And it honestly came down to the fact that like I didn't enjoy like the process of setting it up, but the like return on investment in terms of like XP and obviously like currency as well, if you want to go for that, is just so much better if you spend the time to do it. So on my next
Yeah, Temple is
playthrough,
insane. It's
yes,
insane how good Temple is.
I'm
Yeah.
setting it up right now, and I'm very excited to see like the difference as I kind of you know, grow the snake and yeah. I feel like we got to enjoy it while it lasts because I don't foresee the temple being this insane in 0.5.
Yeah, the thing about the temple is it's like the biggest reason it's so good is obviously because you can like giga juice it. But I think something most people probably aren't thinking about is that the temple is level 81, which is like basically as high as maps are getting in most cases. So you can basically spam like the equivalent of T16 radiated maps just by opening a temple and doing it. It's like even if the temple wasn't giga juiced, it'd already be really good for XP just because of the level of the temple, so you have less XP penalty. And then like the giga juice on top, which just makes it absolutely insane.
Yeah, and like for SSF boys, like you're getting all of those like level 81 bases as well. So you're just like in there, you're getting the
Yeah,
best
yeah.
currency, you're getting the best XP, and then if you also need to craft weapons, like those are the bases that you want to go for as well. So
Exactly,
yeah,
yeah.
it's so good, man. Well, sorry to hear that the plan didn't pan out for you guys. As sort of like a final follow-up, I just wanted to ask, like, prior to going into this sort of like challenge, this race, did you guys, like you and your team, actually like spend some time like practicing and working out like the various like kind of
Um,
ways?
so this was a very last second thing. I didn't even know I was going to do the bounty until a few hours before I posted it to everyone. So, we didn't prepare any more than anyone else did, sort of thing.
Mhm.
It was like the day before the league, we decided that we were going to do it.
I got
Basically, yeah.
I got you. It was super cool, man. Hearing a lot of people come into my chat and be like, "Yo, like, did you hear what Guy That Dies is doing?" I was like, "No way." Just adds such a extra element of interest and intrigue, and obviously that's what you were going for with the significant
Yeah,
like
yeah,
bounty and
exactly.
stuff. So no, that's
Yeah.
cool, man. Props for that. Now that that's over, what are you going to be getting up to? Basically, now that you know that challenge is done with.
Okay, so we have another challenge, similar challenge, but this is more like for me and my team. We're going to be doing Project 100, which is our goal is to basically get to level 100 as fast as possible in a two-man team, which is exactly what the rank 1 guys did to beat us. And our goal is to do it in less than 24 hours. And we're actually going to be doing it live next week, Monday my time, probably, which is in like 4 or 5 days or something. And we've already been like preparing for this, and we found some things that people don't know. I'm pretty sure no one in the world knows except us. As part of that, we've been like testing, and we've found some good shit. So yeah,
Oh,
that's the next thing, Project 100. And then after that, I'm going to be doing like league start prep, just doing like arbiter runs on multiple classes and preparing build guides for the new league.
oh hell yeah, dude! That sounds crazy. We heard it here first, boys. If you're interested in seeing the tech that Guy and his homies have cooked up, make sure to check out his stream on Monday for the Project 100 challenge.
Probably Monday, still to be confirmed, but like around there.
Yeah. Is that going to be fresh start, or is that going to be using already like the stuff that you already have on Second Wind?
Fresh start. Level 1, nothing, completely fresh to level 100 in 24 hours. We're like pretty sure we can do it in 30. Getting to 24 is going to be hard. We need to still have some new improvements for that.
That is insane. Like 24 hours is absolutely bonkers. So I'm excited to see how
Yeah,
that plays out. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, just like generally speaking, how has your experience been with like 0.4 over the last like month or so?
I mean, I've really been enjoying 0.4 in terms of like comparing it to other patches. I can't really compare it to other patches because in the past I've only played the campaign. This is the first time I've really played in game, which is kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah.
You picked a good time to jump into the end game though, because like let's be real, like the end game it got significantly better in 0.3, but it's in a really good spot right now. So how have you been enjoying like just like your experience with the end game so far?
I mean, so on League Starts, I was playing in a group, so we just did like some crazy stuff, like farm heaps of currency. That was a lot of fun. And then I kind of just went back to doing like race prep. And then I basically just did in-game stuff again in Second Wind. And Second Wind was a lot of fun. I think the Temple League mechanic is by far the most interesting thing in the entire in-game by far, because it just has so much depth. There's so many things you can do and so much to learn.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster of a ride. We've kind of gone from like not loving the temple to loving the temple to not loving the temple, and now we're back to loving the temple again. And I'm very okay with like um, you know this mechanic right now because it feels like something that's going to be worthwhile to invest the time to learn in the future. I just really hope that it is like a not so much a standout thing. Like it really felt like for me personally, there was like the sense of FOMO, not knowing how to do everything in the temple, and now because of the amount of just like juice you can add to it, right? And so it just felt like if you're not doing it, you're like fucking up basically, which is kind of how it is. So hopefully they fix that in 0.5 because I don't love that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem. Although one thing is like because temple doesn't drop like all the items, like you can't get omen of whittling from a temple, you can't get abyss currency from a temple. I think that solves it a little bit. But yeah, you definitely still get way more currency in temple than other stuff.
True.
I mean, someone does need to be farming like the ritual and the abyss. It's just less people are farming the Giga temples because I assume most people don't know how to or can't farm a Giga temple. And that's why it's like the most valuable thing, I'm guessing.
For sure. Imagine if in 0.5, so excuse me, this is like a very much a hypothetical situation here, but I'm assuming that it's going to go core and that there's going to be some sort of like Atlas passive tree for the temple. What if they add it so that league content can randomly spawn in the temple as well? So you could actually get Abyss and like ritual in there for some reason. That would be wild.
I really hope they don't do anything like that because it kind of breaks like the. I think they've tried really hard so far to make sure that league mechanics give their own rewards and you can't get that anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I think you played P1 a bit, right? There's like a bunch of league mechanics. All these league mechanics give rewards from other league mechanics, and it's all like fucking jumbled spaghetti, basically.
Yes.
But I think in PoE2 they're very like separated. So Abyss, that's the only place you can get Abyss stuff. Ritual, that's mostly the only place you can get Ritual stuff. And I think that's really good.
I agree. No, totally. And that's why I love SSF is because you have to engage with each of those like league mechanics to achieve a specific outcome. And they all actually work like cohesively together super well. So yeah, like I was watching your stream, I guess like a couple weeks ago, and you were jumping into like some HC SSF gameplay. And it was cool. Like you were very like obviously fresh to HC SSF and the end game as well. And so you were kind of like discovering things as you went. Give me a little bit of insight as to that experience.
Yeah, so the HC SSF ARPG run, my goal there was basically just to learn more about the in-game stuff, which I thought would be good in HC SSF because you have to take things slow and you have to do everything yourself. You can't just buy whatever you want from trade, which is why I thought SSF would be good for that. I mean, I kind of completed my goal. I think Arbiter was just way too easy, so the thing kind of ended in like a couple of days, and I didn't really get to fully experience everything. Like, I don't even think I did Breach because I just didn't have any need because the game's just too easy, which I think is another problem with the in-game, by the way, is just there isn't anything really hard enough in the game to like warrant spending heaps of time doing all these different things.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like the temple, again, kind of circling back to that, is like our biggest way to test our builds at this point in time, like with all of the effectiveness scaling. Like that is like the most challenging content that we have. So yeah, I know what you mean, dude. I hope that they add in more like challenging stuff within the end game that's separate from the temple as well.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, let's get into some guy that dies lore questions, as I love to do.
Yeah,
just starting off with like, when did you start gaming, man, and what were you playing on when you were a kid?
Yeah, I think I'm very unique in this, in that I've been playing games basically as long as I've been alive. I'm pretty sure I started playing video games when I was like 3, but you know that was a long time ago, so can't remember exactly. I mean, my parents probably have some funny stories about like when I was playing GTA and stuff when I was like 5 years old. So I've been playing for a long time.
Okay, so basically, as early as you can remember, gaming was a factor. Dude, when I was a kid, I used to play GTA 2 on my computer. I remember like illegally downloading.
Way.
Yeah, dude, I remember finding a way somehow to download like GTA 1 and 2 on like my old, like the old MS-DOS computer, and like the top down angle and like all that shit. It was crazy, bro.
Yeah, one time I was at my uncle's friend's house, and his friend's parent was a policeman.
Okay.
And I really wanted to play GTA, so I was like crying that I couldn't play GTA on their PlayStation.
Is it because he was so strict because he was a cop? He was like, that's not a game young kids should be playing.
Well, yeah, I would have been like 5, right? So I would have been like, if the policeman catches me playing GTA, that's not going to be good.
True. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming that you started on the computer, right? Like you were kind of playing computer games from a super young age.
I honestly can't remember. I was way too young, but earlier on. I was playing a lot of console as well, but I also played on PC. I think I started playing on the console and then moved over to the PC, but so long ago I can't remember.
Dude, yeah, time flies. Absolutely. It kind of feels
Yeah,
like a different life ago, honestly.
yeah.
So during your childhood, early adult life, even adult life, what are some games that have left a lasting impression on you as a gamer?
So like the first game that I really like played and can remember would be Signs of Fate. I assume most people haven't heard of that. It is a like MMORPG. It came out like 20 years ago. Um, yeah, so the first thing I played was that, and then I played Maple Story.
Yes, dude.
Like a
Okay,
year,
let's
a year or
go.
two after.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
So I would have been like 8 or 9 or something when I was
Mhm.
playing Maple Story, and then I also played some games like Heroes of New Earth and MU, and some other stuff as well. Yeah, that was a long time ago. I would have been like 8 or 9 years old.
Dude, how fun was Maple Story back in the day? I still remember like doing chores around the house for like NX cash. Like I would like beg my dad for like I would like cut the grass and be like, please, like give me
Wait,
10
how
bucks.
old were you when you played?
So I started playing when I was in elementary school. So for me in Canada, that would probably be probably around the same age as you, maybe a little bit older, like 10 or
Okay,
11 years old. But
yeah.
yeah, like very much so. It like dominated my childhood for like a good couple years.
But I have, to me, it's like so long ago. I can't even remember like playing it. I can just remember like a couple of like highlight memories, like the back of my head.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't really like remember the whole thing.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, another one of mine was RuneScape. I don't know if you ever played that, but that was like a huge thing for me and like all the people in my school were all playing RuneScape back in the day as well.
Really? Yeah. I don't know anyone like my age who played RuneScape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else that sort of comes to mind, maybe in your sort of adult life that you're like, damn, like this game was a banger and I will remember this for a very long time.
Um. In terms of games, not really. I mean, my biggest focus has been Path of Exile for the past like 12 or 13 years or something. So pretty much just Path of Exile.
That's fair. So speaking of
Yeah.
Path of Exile, was that the game that sparked your interest in speedrunning, or did that go before PoE?
I mean, I was always kind of competitive in games in general before I did any speedrun stuff. I played like Red Alert 2 like fucking 15 years ago or something. I was very competitive in that. I mean, not like actually competitive, but like I wanted to win sort of thing and put a lot of effort into it. In terms of like what actually sparked my interest in speedrunning itself was Path of Exile 1. So I think something like 13 years ago or something like that, I started playing Path of Exile 1. And then in the 1.0 launch, I think it was 1.0, they added guilds or sometime around there. And I joined a guild. It's like an Australia hardcore player only guild from like 13 years ago. And in that guild, we had a certain someone who was playing in a race. It was like a 1 month race to level 100. And that was Steel Mage, like 13 years ago or something like that. And I was like fucking 12 years old or something at the time. I thought this was fucking sick. There's some guy in my guild pushing the ladder. He's level 100. He's rank 1. Like, this badass. And they had like short-term races at the time. They had these race seasons. So like 1 hour races, boss kill races, all that good shit. So I started doing short-term races. I mean, I wasn't good at the start, but I enjoyed it. And then eventually, I started getting better at these short-term races. And there were like these group races, like party races. So like 1 hour party XP races and stuff like that. And I needed a group for those. So I don't know how, but I eventually ended up playing with Gucci Prada. If you guys know who that is, Gucci. and that's like when I started getting, I would say, good at racing. And then we needed more people, so eventually Steele got in the group as well. And then after that, I kind of took a break from gaming in general, so I didn't do any more PoE1 stuff after that. But yeah, that's kind of like how I got into speedrunning. So basically, Steel Mage was in my guild, and he was popping off, and I thought it was badass, so I would do it myself.
That's super cool. That's a deep cut. I love hearing that type of stuff. Do you ever like keep in touch with Steele after the fact? Does he know that you were like inspired by him to get started on like doing like pushes?
I don't know if I've ever told that to him, but I'm sure he would know that from like all the time we've spent together, I assume.
Yeah. Yeah, that's excellent. Hell yeah. Okay, cool. So obviously you've been doing it for a very long time now, and sort of the progress is shown. Just as a follow-up, so you said you've been like a competitive gamer. You've always enjoyed sort of like, I guess, the aspect of getting better, improving, and stuff like that. Is that do you think like that attributes directly to like your passion for like speedrunning, or is there anything else that's like attractive about that particular play style?
I mean, speedrunning to me. So someone that really inspired me, like other than Steel Mage, was Ty23, because he like, so PoE1 races and stuff were very like not. They didn't put a lot of practice in. Like when we had races and stuff, people would just log into the races and play the races for fun, basically. Like no one ever really went super hard and like studied the game, like studied layouts to like insane levels, and like he basically took the PoE racing to a next level, and I thought that was amazing. So like that really inspired me. Talking about Ty23 is like made me forget what the question was. What was the question?
No, that's cool. Another shout out. Yeah, I was just wondering if there was any other allure to speedrunning for you aside from like the competitive aspect of it.
No, it's speedrunning PoE is all about just like trying to beat other people. To be honest, that's all it is for me. I just want to win.
That's totally fair. Yeah, I mean, to each their own. I respect the hell out of it, man, because I did my very brief stint in speedrunning, and I just for the first time ever tried it in PoE2. That was the first game I ever tried speedrunning, and did the races in 0.1, and like I thought to myself afterwards, like, damn, these people are built different, man. Like this shit is fucking hard. It's stressful, and I found myself getting really angry for like the smallest mistakes. And I'm pretty competitive as well. I'm kind of like you, where like, every game that I've played up to this point, I've always tried to do the best I can, and playing like games like StarCraft, Dota, Counter-Strike, and stuff like that. But yeah, you're like really looking at all of these tiny mistakes that kind of just add up. And I felt like it was mentally a bit challenging. Do you also struggle with that at all?
Um, I've been doing it for so long. I don't think it's that mentally challenging for me and like practice. I mean, if I'm doing a long run and I'm like super locked in, then around like probably the 1.5 hour mark, I can notice that my play starts to deteriorate a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I don't get like super mentally drained or anything when I'm practicing.
It seems like it's probably something that it happens to you at the beginning, and then over time you're kind of just like desensitized to it at the end of the day. That's kind of what I'm gathering.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing it so long, it's hard to like imagine what it was like to start, right?
For sure. So moving on to sort of your YouTube stuff. So checked out your YouTube channel. Love the vids, by the way. I noticed that your like first video is actually just from like a month ago, and it has a ton of views. I think it's like the 4-hour campaign, like run like the level 1 to to maps. So how long have you actually been making YouTube videos? Has it just been the last month? And yeah, like let me know how that experience has been going for you.
Yeah, so this is definitely the first time I've put any serious content out. I don't think I've ever really tried to do YouTube stuff before. So yeah, basically how I got started on YouTube was me and Crimson were just doing a run on stream for fun. And then we were like, oh, we could like upload it to YouTube as well. Maybe we'll get like a couple thousand views, And then we do the run and I upload it to YouTube and it gets like 180,000 views. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, I thought I was gonna be surprised if it got like 2,000.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I was already kind of interested in like starting YouTube before that video. And basically, I mean, I was kind of like procrastinating doing YouTube. I wanted to do it, but I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. My video's gonna be shit. And then basically some guy convinced me to just make a shit video, which was my EXP guide video, which was literally just me talking about my guide that I wrote on Mobalytics. It was literally just me talking, like the shittiest video I could imagine. No editing. Literally just pulled the thing up on my screen and talked. And they got like 20-something thousand views. So I was like, holy shit, I can just make shit videos and people will watch it and people will enjoy it. And then I just kind of started pushing out more videos. And, I did like the weapon video and some other ones. In terms of like other content creation stuff, the only stuff I've done is streaming, and the only stuff I've really streamed is like the O.2 race cycle that I streamed that. I can't remember, like O.3, O.2, O.3 race cycles.
Okay.
I would just stream the races basically. I didn't really do anything other than that.
Wait, you didn't stream 0.1? I thought that you did for some reason. I remember you were running Infernalist. I can't remember.
I might have done like one race streamed or something, or I can't remember exactly. Maybe it was all of the races. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, the only streaming I've done is the races, basically. Yeah.
Did you ever think about doing YouTube stuff when you were doing PoE 1 racing, or was that something you were just never really interested in?
No, I don't think I ever thought about doing YouTube stuff when I was playing PoE 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Well, congrats on that. I think that answers one of the other questions I had, where it was like, what's a video that you didn't expect to pop off? And like, I'm not gonna lie, I watched that video, bro, and like, obviously it's like, I think the beauty of it is it's that, you're learning a lot from these runs, especially like if you just want to learn how to do the campaign better. We're going to talk about the campaign in a lot more detail, guys, later on in the conversation, but combined with Crimson's casting. So, I mean, we got to shout out and plug the homie. Like he does a wonderful job of explaining things, because I would imagine for you, like, you're so locked in and focused on doing everything properly that you can't be like explaining shit to the degree that he does, right? And so
exactly. If you start talking, then the run just completely deteriorates.
Exactly.
At least for me, anyways.
Yeah. Yes, I feel like that's it's a great combination. So I really think that like those two things together just worked so well for that video, and it is like damn insightful. So yeah, anybody that hasn't seen that, I'll drop a link to that in the description.
Yeah, Crimson is the absolute casting goat. I mean, I don't think anyone in PoE has ever come close in terms of like his casting skill set. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, no, he's amazing. I watched the Games Done Quick run with him and Angormus, and it was like I was looking at through the comments of the video, and like, dude, the majority of the comments were like, "Dude, sick gameplay. The casting though was fucking crazy." Like, people were like,
"Yeah, it's amazing."
Yeah, it's really cool. And so yeah, like, have you noticed any benefits or changes to your stream at all as a result of the effort that you've been putting into on YouTube?
I mean, I've kind of got a question for you
for
that after I answer. I mean, I was streaming slightly before I did YouTube stuff, and I was already getting a similar number of views to like what I have now. I was getting like somewhere between like 50 and 100 views before the league, and that's like when I started really streaming.
Yeah.
And then I put out the video. I think I still had like a similar number of views, and then obviously on league start, like the views went up for league start. But it's like really hard to notice if the views are coming from YouTube or if it's just because of like the cyclic nature of PoE. Like, obviously when there's a league start, people want to start watching you. Before the league, people want to watch you to learn what to do on the league. So it's like really hard to notice where the views are coming from for me. So I just have no idea if it's like from YouTube or just like maybe my views wouldn't change at all if I didn't do any YouTube stuff. I have no idea.
Interesting. It's hard to say. There's a lot of factors, as you mentioned, that come into play. What was the question that you had for me?
I was just wondering, like, how would you even know if the views are coming from YouTube or like something else? Because like there's so many factors, right?
Yes. So for me personally, it's been people being like, yo, I came from YouTube because of X. Like it'd be like, yo, I came from YouTube because of the podcast. Because of your build guides, because of X, Y, and Z. And so I think that for me is like the only concrete evidence that we can really get.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I do have people saying like, yo, I like your YouTube videos. So yeah, definitely could be people coming from there.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. I think that like, it's as like content creators and streamers, it kind of gets tricky balancing time wise making videos and doing streaming. I think streaming for a lot of us is a lot more enjoyable just because we're playing games and hanging out and like chatting and shit. But I do always, and I hear this all the time from so many different people, that the YouTube side of things actually plays such a massive role in like growth and stuff like that. So it's cool to hear that like you've also had that experience as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, moving on to like more gaming stuff. So, with regards to ARPGs, like, did you play any other ARPG beside PoE one, or is that your first time ever playing an ARPG?
So, have you ever heard of MU? Is that an ARPG? It's like an MMO slash ARPG hybrid, I
What's
think.
MU? Marvel Universe?
No, no, MU. It's like
I mean,
I think that's literally just what it's called, MU.
like the letters
I think it's called
MU.
like MU Online. Yeah,
Oh, let me
it's
look
like
this
over
up.
20 years old,
Oh shit. Okay, no, I've
pretty
never seen
popular
this
like
before.
MMO.
Korean MMO. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's an RPG, but it's like the closest thing I played other than Path of Exile that is like yeah. Or, I mean, like in terms of like pure ARPGs, the only thing I've played is Path of Exile. I'm pretty sure, which is Path of Exile 1. Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, this kind of looks inspired, right? It's got that it's got that isometric perspective that like all ARPGs basically utilize. So you can definitely see it
yeah.
being sort of like translated over. Um, so give me the backstory about how you got into PoE. Was it through like a homie? Did you just like stumble upon it randomly? Like what's the origin story there?
So basically, the reason, I mean, it's so long ago that, and I was so young, I don't even know for sure, but I'm pretty sure the reason that I'm playing video games is because of my uncle, who was basically like a brother to me.
Hmm.
And so he's like the guy who got me into Maple Story and basically in every other game I played when I was a kid. And he's the same guy who got me into Path of Exile 1. So that would have been like 13 years ago. I played it in open beta, so like before official release. Before official release, I didn't play in closed beta, just open beta.
Okay.
I think I was like 12 or something at the time. So
Damn, yo, that uncle sounds like he's a pretty cool dude getting you into Maple Story, like PoE and shit. Like that guy,
yeah,
he sounds like a cool guy. So when you started, obviously, like you just said recently in the conversation that like in terms of the games that have given you the most longevity, like Path of Exile has like been the standout game for you. What about Path of Exile when you started playing, like captured your attention and has stayed in your attention for like over 10 years?
oh man, that's that's a hard question. I mean, the oldest memory I have of Path of Exile is like when my uncle was showing me Arc, and I was like, "Holy shit, that skill looks badass!" And I wanted to play like an Arc build. Some other like early memories I have of Path of Exile in like the super early days. It's like when I get like a fucking 5 link item, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is amazing! Got a 5 link item, let's go!" Um, yeah, I can't remember. Like it's so long ago. But I mean,
Yeah.
for the first like 1 or 2 years, I pretty much just played it casually. Like I wasn't trying to like compete in any races or anything like that. And then as I told you before, eventually I just joined the guild and met Steel Mage and started doing racing stuff.
Got it. So it kind of seems like as you were quite young when you started, like basically all of it sounded like it was pretty magical to a certain degree. You were just discovering this game for like
Yes,
at a really
yeah,
early age, and it was brand new to you. You had never played an ARPG before, so you're like, "Holy shit!" Like, you know, I could really sink my teeth into this, and
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then you did for a long
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
So over the course of like Path of Exile's development, there's been a ton of additional content in terms of like patches and updates and expansions and stuff like that. Do you have anything that like stands out to you as being like a favorite like period in PoE one's like development cycle or history?
So at some point, so the game used to be really hard, right? Like you basically didn't even have skills that could attack multiple monsters. Like if you were melee, you could only hit one monster at a time for some skills. Like at some point, the game just like changed from like that super slow thing where you're not getting any items and you're like super weak, and it just like changed into this insane power creep, like one shot the screen. And I think the first league that really sticks out to me, where like that went into like a big shift, was probably Breach League, because you had this insane like risk reward for Breach, where like the monsters were super overtuned compared to any other monsters in the game, but they also dropped insane amounts of currency, which made the league really fun, because you're getting heaps of currency and you actually feel like the risk you're taking on the monsters is worth it. And then but I also think it started to go down like a slippery slope of the league mechanic is the only thing you want to do. And I mean, we're seeing that still today, right? Where Temple is the only thing worth doing pretty much, because it just gives way more than anything else. And I mean, I think Abyss League was the same. I didn't play Abyss League, but from what I've heard, like Abyss League, you basically just wanted to do abysses from what I've heard. And I think like Breach League is where that kind of started. So, but yeah, Breach was like my favorite league, but I think it started going down a slippery slope there.
I think that's where they got their hooks in you, bro.
Yeah.
Breach League. It kind of reminds me of how Breach was in 0.1 for Path of Exile 2. I feel like Breach was like the end-all be-all end game content. I know you said you didn't really do a lot of end game stuff in 0.1, but like it kind of had that same vibe where like it was dangerous as fuck when you opened up the Breach, but like if you scaled your character correctly and your like map modifiers, like you could be getting a lot of currency from it. So it's cool to kind of hear that it got sort of hashed out and iterated again in PoE 2 as it did in PoE 1 all those years ago.
Yeah, I feel like they could do that with every league though. Like I feel like they could surely there's something they can do with every league. Like at the moment I think Ritual's like super easy, right? There's no like risk in Ritual, like it's super easy in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, I mean they nerfed the damage that you take in like the Ritual from all of the like predetermined like mechanics, like the waves of blood or the the volatile plants and stuff like that. Like when volatile plants were like fucked, like back in like 0.1 and 0.2, like if you went in there and you like got hit once, you were like almost dead, dude. It was like scary. But yeah, so I think they've made it a lot easier over time, basically by nerfing all of the interactions with the attacks and stuff.
Yeah.
So how did you feel sort of leading up to the like release of PoE 2? Like as a PoE 1 player, been playing the game for a long time at that point, like were you excited? Were you skeptical? Like break it down for me. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, so I kind of stopped playing PoE 1 in like 2019 because I started just focusing on in real life stuff. In 2019, I had to just stop playing games completely because I went to Japan for a year. And then I kind of came back and I just wanted to focus on in real life stuff. So I didn't really play PoE 1 since 2019, basically. And then I kind of wanted to do like more stuff with PoE 1, but the game got so bloated and I shouldn't really enjoy the game anymore because there's just so much random stuff in it. Like there's so much stuff in PoE 1 that like there's like literally 50 league mechanics, right? So to learn every league mechanic to the depth that you need to be able to compete in PoE 1 would take more time than a human has, I'm pretty sure. So I basically just gave up on PoE 1. And and then PoE 2 gets announced. I'm like, okay, well PoE 2 is going to be a fresh game. No one's played PoE 2. We're all on a like even starting point. And so I went into PoE 2 with the mindset of like trying to be competitive. I actually got into the closed beta of PoE 2, so I had a little bit of an unfair advantage for like 0.1.
Oh, it all makes sense now. It's those extra couple weeks that he got. All right. I see how it is. That's pretty.
Yes.
No, I feel you on that 100%, man. Like that was kind of always the deterrent for me, and I think a lot of people about PoE 1 was like if you didn't start playing it early on, you had a lot of like what felt like catching up to do. And so I think that was what was so exciting about PoE 2 for me was like, yo, I get to get in on the ground floor and like learn everything as it comes out, which makes it so much easier when, when we've been playing this game for like 5-10 years down the road and we've been playing since like early access beta or in your case, like we'll be comfortable with everything as long as we don't take too much time off. As a side note, do you want to talk a bit about Japan? I think that like I'd be interested in hearing about it because I was actually in Japan for 2.5 weeks about a month and a half ago, and it was my first time there. It was awesome.
Yeah, we can talk about Japan, sure.
So what were you up to in Japan for like a year when you went over there?
So I went to Japan when I was in my last year of high school, and it was a high school exchange.
Hmm.
So I stayed with like a host family. They only speak Japanese, so I got to speak to them in Japanese. Yeah, it was just a high school exchange. It was like probably the best year of my life. Like, it was absolutely amazing. I think going there might have been a mistake because it was like so good that
Oh.
the rest of my life seems boring now. but yeah, it was
That's
amazing.
that's cool. What part of Japan did you stay in?
I went to a place called Toyama. It is like northwest of Tokyo. It's
Hmm.
like pretty countryside in terms of Japan. It's like it has like a million people, so in terms of Japan, it's like countryside.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, in terms of like New Zealand, where I'm from, that's like a big city. So
yeah. I
you
got
know,
it.
yeah.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah, like a 1 year. That's a pretty bold thing to do at a young age as well. Um, like relocating for an extended period of time. Was there anything sort of that stood out to you about Japanese culture immediately as you like entered that area of the world for the first time?
Oh man, it's like it's just there is nothing the same. It's completely different in every aspect. Like the people, the biggest thing is the people, right? In like New Zealand and high, I'm looking at this from a high school point of view because I was in high school, right?
Hmm.
In New Zealand, basically everyone in high school is an asshole. Basically, like that's New Zealand high schools. Everyone's an asshole. I was
Yeah.
an asshole. Everyone I knew was an asshole. In Japan, it's like completely different. Everyone's like really nice. Everyone's friends with each other in Japan. Like at least in the high school I went to, like literally everybody in the class was friends. Like you didn't have people going off in like their own groups. Like there was like 10 dudes in my class, and every single time that you would have like a break, they would all be hanging out together. Like I thought it was very cool. Like everyone was really kind to each other, and like they were all like kind of like a team, I guess. It's
Yo,
completely different to New Zealand. Yeah.
I love that, dude. That's kind of the same realization that I had. I moved from where I live in Canada to Singapore for 2 years. I wasn't in high school. I just finished uni and like paid off my like student loans, and so I was like, oh, I actually have money now. I can like spend it responsibly and not just like you know have this looming
Yeah.
debt over my
Yeah.
head.
Yes. Yeah.
So I felt the same way that you did about high school. Yeah, like I feel like in North America, and maybe this is translated a bit to New Zealand as well. I'm not sure, but people are nice in North America, but there are lots of cliques and like different like social groups and something things like that. And when I moved to Asia, I learned that like they kind of look at things as like a more of a communal way, more like family oriented for whatever reason.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes. Yeah.
it's pretty special, man. Like I wanted to sort of like reintegrate that back when I came back, and I was like, nah, you can't do it. There's
You can't.
yeah,
Yeah. It's impossible.
you
Yeah.
can't do it. Yeah, and then for me in Japan, I've said that the three things that stood out to me were the trains. The train system in Japan is probably the best like system I've ever seen in terms of
It's
like it's
amazing. Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. You can go like anywhere by train, and it's like super efficient, super fast, and like really like cost effective as well. Um, the food, bro. What did you think having Japanese food for a year versus like New
Oh,
Zealand cuisine?
so the first like couple of weeks I was in Japan, I tried some new foods that I'd never tried before, right? Like I had never tried raw sushi, and I'd never had green tea. I had like three host families while I was over there. My first host family, we went over to like the grandparents' house, and we had sushi and like green tea, and it was the most fucking disgusting thing I had ever had. And I was like, oh my god, it was so bad. I hated it. But over time, as I had more of it, I started to enjoy it, and now I just fucking eat it and drink green tea just because I enjoy the taste. Like it's kind of crazy, like how backward, like how much it flipped. Like I absolutely hated it at the start, and now I just eat it myself because I enjoy it.
Yeah,
Um, but like the food in Japan is just it's not even comparable to like New Zealand or Australia. The food over here is so bad compared to Japan. It's crazy.
I hear you, man. I feel like I got
Yeah.
spoiled going to Japan because my like sense of like scale for how good Japanese food was based in like North America. And so like I had my favorite Japanese restaurants and stuff, ramen, sushi and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they're good. But then you go to Japan and you're like, holy fuck, like this is the shit from the source. Like this is insane. And so yeah, I don't know if I can ever eat ramen again in Canada. I might have to just
Yeah,
only eat it
people over
here.
here tell me they don't like Japanese food, and I'm like, okay, have you been to Japan? And they're like, no. Okay, no shit, you hate Japanese food. Yeah,
So have you
yeah.
ever gone back there since then?
Yeah, so actually before the exchange, I went on like a holiday. I went on 2 holidays before the exchange. I
Okay.
first went when I was 16, and then I went a year later with my friend when I was 17. Um, and then I think it was like a few months after that I had the exchange, or like I can't remember exactly. But then after that I had the exchange, and then after the exchange, COVID happened, right? So I couldn't go back. And then basically as soon, because Japan closed their borders, like no one could get in basically because of
Mhm.
COVID. And then like literally the week after they opened their borders, I went to Japan again. Um, I think that's the last time I went. Yeah, that would have been over 3 years ago. I haven't been back since.
Oh shit! It sounds like you're overdue for another trip soon, man. It's cool because
Yeah, yeah,
Japan. What I realized after going there was like, there's never enough time in Japan. I feel like what we did in 2.5 weeks, we could have spent 2.5 months and just like really soaked it in and like gone to a bunch of places. And so
yeah,
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 it's one of
yeah.
those places that like for me, and everyone warned me about this, but like they're like, oh, you're gonna want to keep going back, and so it's kind of cool to hear that like it left a lasting impression on you as a person too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places I still want to go to in Japan. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been to Hokkaido, and I've never been to Kyushu, which is like the South Island, and Hokkaido is like the North Island. If you didn't know what that was,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's still so many places to go that I haven't been that I definitely want to go to at some point.
Yeah. The one thing that really caught me off guard was the toilets, bro. Like, I didn't realize how like serious they were about like bathroom hygiene.
Yeah, yeah,
And I remember
yeah,
sitting on my like I got off the plane, got to our Airbnb, and like sat on the toilet, and just like the heated seat, the bidet, everything.
yeah. The heated
I was like,
seat, amazing.
holy shit, this I could get used to
Hell
this.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's awesome. Yeah,
that's
very cool. I
amazing.
appreciate you talking a bit about that. That's something that a piece of lore about you that I feel like a lot of people probably didn't know about. So it's cool to hear about that for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So going back to PoE, so this is a bit of a tricky question, but I know you got this. So at this point in time, and I kind of know the answer to this already, but for the people listening, which game do you prefer at this moment, and why do you prefer that game, PoE 1 or PoE 2?
Yeah, so obviously PoE2 is the better game for anyone who hasn't been playing for like 10 years. The reason is just because PoE1 is completely overbloated spaghetti at this point with like 50 different league mechanics which you have to learn. Yeah, so PoE2.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm on board with that. I think for me personally, it was cool to actually be inspired to try playing PoE 1 for the first time after playing PoE 2. Initially, that was a pretty unique experience because the game had just come out, but I think over time there's going to be more and more crossover. Like I think generally it's going to start with people starting with PoE 2 first, especially it being the newer, like flashier and like more attractive game, and less like
Yeah,
complicated. And then if you really fall in love with it, you can play PoE 1 as well, and like it's just kind of a win-win, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I feel like PoE2 itself already has so much depth. It does depend on your goal though, but like for me, where I'm trying to like win races and eventually end game races when they have those, there's just an infinite amount of depth. Like you could play the game for 100 years and still have more things to learn and test. It's
100%.
yeah,
I agree with you so much, man. Like, we were watching a video earlier, and like that person had said that like there was 3 days worth of content in the game, and to me personally, I felt like maybe if you only want to like get to end game and softcore and maybe kill Arbiter, you can probably do that in 3 days. But I think like for anybody else who wants to enjoy the game, there are so many other ways to do it. Like, for instance, in this conversation, guy that dies is playing the game usually a completely different way that I am, and we are spending like a lot of time playing this game in completely different play styles as well. So there's a lot that you can get out of it, and that's kind of one of the things that stood out to me was like the value that like GGG provides the player for like the price. Like I think $30 is such a fair price to like have this much enjoyment for a video game.
yeah. The crazy thing is it's going to be free when it launches.
Yes, which is it's gonna just be
Yeah,
even wilder with more and more stuff too.
Yeah.
So describe to me like sort of your first impressions of the game. Like when you hopped in, early like beta for PoE2, like what were your first thoughts about the game? How did you feel about it?
So I kind of have to talk about like the closed beta, but I'm not gonna like disclose what the closed beta was in there. But how I felt about it was like the best game I'd ever played.
Okay. So immediately it
Um,
was like, holy shit, this is crazy.
yes, yes. So it felt like everything I did had meaning, basically. So like, I'm not sure if this was true of 0.1 because I think I was just better because I'd already played the beta. But my first impression of the game was like everything I did mattered. So like even my flasks, like the bosses were so hard that even if my flask had like gain charges per second, I would be like fucking pogging, like let's fucking go. I got plus charges gained per second on my flask. Now I can kill this boss because the bosses were taking me like 10 minutes and I had to like actually dodge all the attacks. I felt like, the gameplay had insane amount of meaning. I mean, that's kind of just completely gone now, but yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know necessarily if it's gone because the game has changed or if you have just gotten way better as a gamer. It's probably the
Yeah,
latter,
I think
personally.
I'm pretty sure it's both
Okay.
because like after the game came out, everyone was crying about how difficult it is, and so like they nerfed a bunch of stuff, right?
Dude,
So I think it's just
0.1
a bit
was
of both.
savage. I played, I don't know if you're able to disclose, what did you play when you played beta? Are you allowed to say that?
I probably can. I played ED Contagion
Okay. Okay.
because I thought like ED Contagion would be the fastest build, basically.
Probably a good
Yeah,
choice. It's been strong like since the
yeah,
beginning. So yeah, not a bad
yeah.
combo to use. Yeah, I rolled Warrior on in 0.1 and it was my first ever Path of Exile game. And Melee, just generally speaking, just feels like playing the game on hard mode in a lot of ways. And that was
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing on Warrior, it's very rough. But if you do know what you're doing, it's literally the strongest.
For
So
sure. Yeah. I learned
yeah,
so much by watching Angormas play in the 0.1 races and like it was funny. That particular performance that he had was like, it kind of changed the perspective of the class for a lot of people because I don't know if you remember this,
yeah,
but like a year ago when like the game came out, everyone was hating on Warrior. And I think that there was a lot of good reason for that. Obviously, like life scaling is pretty bad. Moving really slow feels like shit. The attack speed for a lot of abilities was really slow as well. And so like generally speaking, for a lot of people that didn't know what they were doing, that it just had this culmination of like aspects to the class that kind of felt poor. But then watching Angormas just like shit on the campaign and the races, we're like, oh, the Warrior's not that bad after all. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Warrior's actually to this day the best class in the campaign, and also just a very strong class in endgame actually.
Yes.
In terms of like the league start scenario, yeah.
Absolutely. So you've been racing in PoE 2 since 0.1. Are you able to walk us through, for people who haven't maybe been following the races, any of the notable meta shifts that you can remember from like 0.1 to 0.4?
Yeah, so I have only been paying attention mostly in the early days, like Witch and Warrior. In 0.1, Warriors was just basically playing what Angormas played, which was like Rolling Slam, Bone Shadow for clear, and then Perfect Strike for single target. And then Witches would use Bone Storm and ED with Demon Form. I have no idea what the other classes were playing because I never paid any attention to those. And then in 0.2, basically, we had the basically bug exploit with Rake Stomping Ground. I mean, it wasn't actually a bug, but like it was so powerful,
Mm-hmm.
it may as well be classified as a bug. So literally every class was playing Rake Stomping Ground, even
Yeah.
which literally could only take attribute nodes of strength, still played it. Because it was just so completely broken.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 0.3, we had this is probably the most healthy patch out of all the patches. We had like basically every class playing their own build, and they were all like similar power levels. So Warriors was doing like the same thing they did in 0.1 basically, except they started using Shield Wall at level 22, and then we had Witches playing like Bone Storm ED, and then we had Mercenaries playing grenades, and monks using like quarterstaves, and all that good stuff. It was very healthy.
Nice. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, when I was playing, so I was very inspired by Sarge when I did my race stint. And one of the interactions that no longer exists in the game was the ability to like use the same skill gem multiple times. And so what monks would do in the races were just drop like 4 bells on the boss and just like smash it with like ice strike. And the damage was actually so sick for that as well. It wasn't as strong as perfect strike was, but it was like if you had a good quarterstaff, it could definitely compete in terms of like the damage.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that's basically a bug, right? That wasn't that a bug?
I don't think it was a bug. Maybe it was just an oversight. I think like back in 0.1, you were able to just use like the same skill gems multiple times in your character. So like you could just be like,
Okay.
I'm just gonna use like 4 Tempest Bells for some reason. And yeah, maybe it was a bug. Maybe they just overlooked it. Obviously they changed it now, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it was
I'm pretty
pretty
sure they
nuts.
overlooked it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you feel about the current state of like racing right now in terms of like balance and like tech?
In terms of like build balance,
Hmm.
I think it's the best it's ever been. In terms of like overall balance, it's absolutely terrible. It's probably the worst it's ever been.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is there's so much RNG variance, it's crazy. Um, so like the league mechanic, obviously we all know that the league mechanic gives guaranteed rewards. So if you kill the league mechanic in the Ogre Manor, you get an alchemy orb. If you do it in the cemetery, you get a regal orb. And so there's a new RNG thing here that never existed before, which is that if you don't find the league mechanic on the way to the next objective, you now have to spend time going and looking for the league mechanic, or not doing it at all and giving up like an alchemy orb and a regal orb, right? So in some cases you can just lose like 3 minutes looking for the league mechanic. So a good example of this is in Buried Shrines, which gives a lesser jeweler's orb, which is an incredible damage boost. Like you basically have to do that because that's like 25-30% more damage. And if you don't find that on the way to the boss, you might just end up having to full clear the entire zone to find it, which could take you like 3 minutes. And if you die in a race, it's a 2.5 minute penalty. So that's literally worse than dying. It's just not getting the league mechanic on the way. Another thing is that, so in 0.1, for Bone Storm ED Demon Form, you didn't even need a weapon because all the damage came from Demon Form. And Warriors were so powerful that you didn't need a good weapon either. You could get away with like the absolute most dog shit weapon and you'd be perfectly fine. So we didn't really need good weapons in 0.1. 0.2, we had Rake Stomping Ground, so like that was the absolute least amount of RNG across all the patches, I think, which made it actually the best for racing. And then 0.3, if you get a bad weapon, you're completely fucked. You lose like 20 minutes. So it's like insane amounts of RNG now. It's absolutely terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like you know, and you can speak more about this. It seems like from what I understand, there is always going to be a level of RNG when it comes to racing and ARPGs. Like
100%.
it's just
Yeah.
the RNG nature of the gameplay loop itself. Um, that being said, I think the league mechanic is something interesting that you mentioned, where like that adds an additional layer on top of it because you obviously you need to get like those like confirmed and guaranteed rewards from the league mechanic as well. So like it kind of feels bad that like you know the racing balance could basically be thrown off completely from league to league based on whatever however they implement these guaranteed rewards in the campaign through like whatever league mechanic basically.
Yeah, there's definitely some solutions they could do to get rid of like 90% of the RNG, but yeah, they haven't done it. So at the moment, it's basically just an RNG fiesta.
Do you have any solutions that you'd be wanting to talk about maybe for people listening like that could, I don't know, maybe be interested in that?
Yeah, so I mean, anyone who's been like paying attention to the racing scene has probably heard me say this before, but if they basically we need an essence because essence guarantees that you get a decent weapon basically. So if they add a essence in the modern mine, so currently there's like a strong box in the modern mine at the very beginning. If they just put an essence of abrasion there, you wouldn't ever be able to get that super unlucky scenario where you basically don't even get a weapon and you're running with like a white weapon, right? So if
Okay.
they did that, then you could get rid of that like bottom 10% RNG where you just get absolutely fucked and lose like 10 minutes from having no weapon. And then
That's
they would also have to do another one of like a regular essence of abrasion sometime in Act 3, so that when you get an upgrade weapon at like level 33, you can get another one. Because if you get basically a white level 33 weapon, you're losing to the guy who gets a weapon, right?
True. That seems like such a small and simple addition, and honestly, I might be overlooking some factors here, but it almost seems harmless. Like, I don't really see the negative
No,
downside to
it would be
that.
good for everybody, even just the casual player.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it
Yeah.
feels so good, speaking of how Essence is, like, man, like, how like, they're so much better now that they actually give, like, guaranteed outcomes versus, like, how they used to be in PoE 2, like, back in 0.1, like, oh my god, Essences were so bad, especially compared to PoE 1's Essence system. But yeah, no, I think that's great, and there are, like the thing is they have guaranteed essences in the game. Like, you get one in the interludes in in the ice area. There's always going to be like that one essence there outside of the monkey's cave, basically, is where one spawns. And so I don't think like they would have an issue. Like, they don't have an issue having guaranteed ones in the campaign because that already does exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it would take very little work to make races have very minimal RNG. All you need to do is add a couple of essences and get rid of the league mechanic.
Mhm.
And then it's like you've solved 90% of the issues.
Dude, yeah, well, I hope they do that, man, because like that would
Yeah.
create such more intense races. And yeah, it would just be there would be such a lower amount of bummers that would happen for people who are like, immediately if you're gonna like kind of fuck up your run and it's not even your fault. You're just kind of like, well, I'm kind of screwed right now until
Yeah.
I get this upgrade.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully that gets put into the game because I would love that. In terms of
That would be amazing. Yeah.
in terms of the campaign, okay, so I'm sure you've heard this from many people or you've seen this throughout the community. A lot of people think the campaign is too long. They think that it takes too long for people to run through the campaign, especially on a second character. What are your thoughts about the campaign's current length?
Okay, so this is very hard for me to understand as someone who goes through the campaign really quickly and like enjoys the campaign. I think what is happening is that people suck, and that's why they don't like the campaign.
Hmm.
What I imagine is happening is like people don't know how to make good characters in the campaign, so they probably end up with like some absolute garbage character dying on repeat. If you know how to make a good character, I think the campaign's kind of fun. And like in the in game, right? You don't have the problem of like these shit characters because you already geared your character. You don't need to like constantly be upgrading your character in the in game. So you don't even have to like think about your gear and stuff like that for the most part because like you already geared it like 2 hours ago. You don't have to update it every 10 minutes. I think people just don't know how to make good characters in the campaign, and that's why they hate it.
Yeah, I think that definitely can be a factor. I think like, as rough around the edges as like skill issue sounds, it totally can be like chalked up to that. Like, thinking about my own experiences, like, we were all relatively dog shit in 0.1. But as I started like getting more interested in racing and like paying attention to like folks like yourself and Gormis and Sarge and stuff like that, like I felt like I learned so much about how to navigate the campaign properly or like efficiently. And it wasn't even from like a character building standpoint. It was more of like what to do at what time and how to effectively like skip certain things. Like, like a lot of players probably didn't know that you could like checkpoint skip like cutscenes and like certain NPC interactions and stuff like that. And like all of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
things add so much or take away so much time from the campaign as well. So it is definitely something that you can like get better at. It just seems like people just don't want to spend the time to get better at it.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people who thought that they hated the campaign and out of necessity started practicing the campaign and actually came to enjoy it. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, and like I think from like not even a speed or like clearing standpoint for me, I think and I've done the campaign so many times, dude. It's like kind of crazy. You've done it way more than me, and so you're obviously still enjoying it. But it is just a fun
Yeah.
campaign, man. Like I don't know, it's my favorite campaign of any ARPG. I think it blows PoE one's campaign out of the water, absolutely. In terms of the moments and the world building and like the sort of the experiences that you get from it. Were those sort of like things that also stood out to you as you like played through the campaign for the first time where you're like, wow, like, the bosses, the monsters and all that kind of stuff? Like, did that really like kind of, um, I don't know, just take your breath away a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the first time I did the campaign, I thought the bosses were insanely amazing. Like, way better than PoE1 campaign bosses. It was crazy. Um, I see some guy in the chat, by the way, saying that the areas are really big and that's why he hates it. I don't understand that take at all. Like, I feel like the areas aren't big and like there's stuff to do all the time in an area. Like I never enter an area and then think, oh, there's no monsters. And yeah, I know that's a take a lot of people have, and I don't understand that at all. I feel like there's always stuff going on in the areas.
Yeah, especially now that they've actually shrunk a lot of like problematic areas, especially in like Act 3. Like I could say that I would understand that opinion more in like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 before they made the
Yes,
changes.
yes,
I think that like
yeah.
the certain areas like, you know, the drowned city, for example, or the waterways was also a super contentious one as well. I do think that like those areas did feel a little too big back in the like I don't want to say back in the day, but like a major patches ago. But now like I don't personally don't have a big of an issue as well. Do you think that it's because you understand the layouts to such a degree that you just know exactly where to go, and that's why it doesn't feel too big?
That could be it. Like maybe these people are just backtracking over. Like maybe they just run down some dead ends and they have to backtrack, so they think like, oh, there's nothing in the area. But actually, what actually happened is they already cleared the things in the area and then had to backtrack, right? So maybe that's it. But it's
Maybe.
hard for me to know because I don't really run into these problems.
Yeah, like another thing that exists within like PoE 2, and I'm sure it's in PoE 1, is just like there's like things within the layouts that like mark kind of like the general way you need to go and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people just aren't aware of these like things to look out for. And so they end up just like going the completely wrong direction because like they missed like the, you know, however the map is designed essentially. So that could be something that people could look into if they want to improve their time in the campaign as well.
Yeah, GGG is actually trying to add like environmental clues to a lot of layouts to improve this. By the way, like, they're working on that right now. If you
Yeah.
go on the Campaign Codex Discord, there's literally GGG, someone from GGG, asking for ideas for what environmental clue can we add to this area. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good plug. Do you want to plug what the campaign codex is? Maybe shout out the people who are behind that because that is an excellent resource as well.
Yeah, so the Campaign Codex Discord is basically a Discord with layout information for every layout in the game. It was started by Lolcahol and Guitaraholic, and then it kind of became like a massive community thing with heaps of people contributing to layouts. The main people being like Angormus, Crimson, me, Lundberger, and some other people.
Yeah.
And basically, we've got solutions for every layout in the game, basically, in the Discord.
It's a massive resource. It was a game changer for me in my like very brief speedrunning stint. I will leave a link in the description for that as well, guys. If you're not in that Discord, you need to get in there because it will change the way you look at certain layouts and just help you understand them so much more, which can again just shave time off of your getting lost in some of these areas. Yeah, so do you have any like sort of basic tips or strategies that you can give to people that would like help them like get better at the campaign aside from like studying layouts?
Yeah, so if you want to get better at the campaign, probably the last thing you should be doing is learning layouts.
Yeah.
If you just want like a quick tip that you can use without practicing, the most important thing is basically just playing with a sense of urgency. So, don't just sit around doing nothing in town, looking at random items for no reason. Just like think about what you're actually doing and why you're doing it, and whatever you do it quickly. Is the main thing. So
Hmm.
like I would get a timer out so that you can really feel the time is ticking, so that you feel like everything you're doing, you got to like rush, do it really quick, and that's like going to be the biggest time saver, I think. Obviously, practicing the campaign is going to be the most helpful, but if you don't want to do that, you just got to really feel the time ticking and play with the rush.
Yeah, that's good. Nothing like making you sweat a little bit by seeing some sort of timer ticking in your bottom right corner.
Exactly, yeah.
That will definitely be like that will change the way you interact with the campaign. Even just knowing that you're keeping track of time. That's such a good suggestion, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of layouts and areas, is there anything in the campaign right now that stands out to you as being problematic?
Oh yeah, there is a few of them right now. The, I mean, from I assume we're talking about from like a competitive point of view, or are we talking about like casual player? I don't think there's any. It's very hard for me to know what zones are bad for casual players because I'm not a casual player.
Oh no,
But
I'm
from the
asking
competitive,
what your perspective is. Yeah,
from
what are you?
okay. Well, for me, I think the only problematic zone is probably the Temple of Kopek. So on the first floor of Temple of Kopek, there is 3 possible exit locations. You can go straight, you can go left, and you can go right. And as far as we know, it's going to be impossible to figure out where the exit is, no matter how hard we work on that zone. The only thing we do know about that zone is it's twice as likely that the exit is on the opposite side. So if you just run straight, there's a 50% chance that it's there, and 25% chance that it's left, and 25% chance that it's right. But as far as we know, it's impossible to solve that zone, and I'm pretty sure it's the only zone that is unsolvable. Other notable zones would be like Chimeral Wetlands, which is probably never going to be solved by humans, but I think you can just look at the overworld map anyway to find the exit. So like, if you open up the overworld map and you see Jaquanis is to the left, you can probably just run left in Chimeral Wetlands and get to Jaquanis. And if you see it's north, you can probably just run north and find the Jaquanis zone. Some other zones is like Cemetery of the Eternals, which is solvable by humans, but extremely difficult, such that I imagine no one will ever solve and memorize all the layouts. It would take someone like Ty23 to do that, I imagine. And Tomb of the Consort has a similar issue to Cemetery, but it's not as bad as Cemetery. But yeah, the biggest problem at the moment with like areas and layouts isn't actually like the areas and the layouts, it's more the league mechanic, because even if you know the layout, the league mechanic can basically spawn anywhere. So you kind of just get fucked sometimes, even if you perfectly know the layout.
Damn, yeah, that's true. Okay, so interesting. The Temple of Kopek, I feel like the Sun Temple map, kind of notorious for being something that I think generally most people hate. Aside from, I guess, the spectacle of it all, which is, the first time you play through the campaign and you go into the Temple of Kopek, you're like, holy shit, this is pretty epic. Like, what is this place?
Yeah.
Why am I burning? Like, what's going on up top? That part is incredible for people who are kind of just playing through the campaign for the first time. But it seems like something that, as you mentioned, maybe GGG is taking a look at. Maybe they can add some sort of like tell within that map to sort of help guide people who are looking to complete it first. Yeah, that's always been my strat, is just to run across, and then if it's not there, to checkpoint reskip and hope that you get lucky on the second try. Yeah, that's interesting to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, so in your opinion right now, what are the biggest strengths of PoE 2 and what are its biggest weaknesses currently?
Okay, so the strength is definitely like the depth of the game. I mean, as I said earlier on, I could literally play the game for 100 years and still have an infinite number of ways to improve my understanding of the game. In terms of weaknesses, like definitely the in-game content. There's just nothing difficult enough in the game that requires you to be good at the game to clear it. Like, the hardest content in the game can be cleared in like 3 days, or even less if like you're really trying to beat it. At the moment, the only reason you would ever have to like get a further understanding of the game is if you create your own constraints. For example, if you're like in a race and you have the time constraint, then you have to have a lot of knowledge. But if you're just casually playing the game, trying to kill the hardest bosses or whatever, like the best players can do that in like a day. It's like there's nothing hard in the game for the top players.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that the game is at the easiest state it's ever been at right now. And so I think they're very well aware of this. If there was something to come into the end game, maybe a league mechanic from PoE 1 or an additional piece of like difficult content, how would that look for you as terms of like an ideal like thing that you would enjoy?
I just want to see really difficult bosses, I think. Like back in PoE 1 when they like introduced the Feared. I don't know if you know what the Feared is. But you would basically fight like 5 insanely hard bosses at the same time is the idea. And I wish we just had stuff like that. There was like super hard content to clear. And like if you clear it, that's like a feat in and of itself. And we just don't have that in the game at the moment.
Yeah, that's a great point. I feel like something that's super aspirational, even if like, so here's the thing, like the game is very much supposed to be more accommodating for sort of like newer players. It's supposed to be sort of not handholdy, but basically like easily digestible, especially for people who are new to the like PoE space. So I can definitely understand why they've sort of spent a lot of time creating a space for those types of players to really immerse themselves and get it like locked into the game. And now I think it's just time. Now that that's in a pretty good state, I feel like it's time to add in the aspirational content for people who are locked into it and want to spend like a shit ton of time like getting min maxed. You know.
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job with that so far. I'm pretty sure that they spent like 5 years on the campaign, by the way. I'm pretty sure they didn't even start doing the in-game until like very shortly before they were going into early access, right?
From my understanding, I don't know the exact date. There's a lot of like information floating around about that. I don't know if like they've been like precise about the like date or time that they spent, but I'm like almost like I can almost guarantee that it was something that like I heard from an interview where like they were like, yeah, like 6 months maybe before the release of early access, like they did the end game.
Yeah,
so.
that's when they started doing in-game, and they had been working on it for 5 years before that. So like, they've put basically 90% of the effort or 80% of the effort into the campaign, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense that the end game's like lacking.
Yeah, absolutely. And like it's come like leaps and bounds since 0.1, like even with like the smaller sort of changes that they did, like the tower stuff, which was actually pretty significant. Even like the tablets, dude, like I know that you kind of didn't really fuck around with tablets that much in the previous patches, but like having the ability to juice tablets is like made me have so much more fun in the end game. And it's just such a small change. So I'm really excited to see what they cook up for 0.5, man. I hope it's something substantial for sure.
Did tablets not exist in 9.1?
They did, but they were used as you like completed a tower. So you do like, let's say you did a T15 tower,
Right.
you could put 3 tablets in, and then all those tablets would affect like the area of the tower, and that's how the end game worked until like 0.3, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're always blue. So just being able to have double the amount of stuff or like modifiers on your tablets is just such a nice change for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about your biggest strengths and weaknesses. I guess we talked about your sort of end game ideas as well. Let's ask. I'll ask you one thing about the end game. Okay, so what was your favorite thing about PoE1's end game? Like for me, like it was the way that you progress through like the atlas, like the end game atlas. I really like the map to map sort of like you do a map that you've been searching for and you get that point. Is there something that like sticks out to you as maybe a point of inspiration from the PoE1 end game that you'd like to see implemented in PoE2?
Oh man, I do think that the Atlas tree in PoE1 is a lot better than the Atlas tree in PoE2. So that's like the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that PoE1 has a strength in that you don't have the like infinite Atlas in-game map thingy.
Yeah.
Where like you can walk around and there's like nodes and stuff. It looks really cool. The biggest problem with it is that you can't find like nodes that you want to find. Like if I do like 100 maps and then I want to go back and find my untainteds, I have to like literally just look through, see if I can find an untainted, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's absolutely horrible. Or like if I do 100 maps and I want to go and look at my Abyss Overrun maps that I got from the Abyss Overrun 5% chance thing, I have to literally just scan through the atlas looking for any overruns. Just absolutely horrible. Whereas PoE1, they don't even have that thing, right? You just chuck it in a map and go.
Exactly.
Which I think is like a strength for PoE1 there.
Yeah, there's a lot more agency in PoE1, isn't there? Where you can kind of choose like what you want to do and when you want to do it.
Yeah. I do think the Infinite Atlas in-game thing is interesting. I just think it has a lot of problems with it.
It's funny, like the issues that you have are something that I have as well, especially when you start getting into like the deep end game stuff. Like, if you're pushing XP, especially, like your end game atlas gets like so big, dude. Like you're just like you've gone so far. You've used like 20 grand projects and you've been tower hopping to corrupted zones. Like trying to find where the fuck you are is like super difficult sometimes, or like relative to other places. So I think like
I feel like they.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
They almost need to let you zoom out more.
Yeah.
And then like maybe you would be able to see a bit more, right?
That would be huge. If you could zoom out like 300% from the distance as you like progress more out of the map, like maybe it scales. So like you can zoom out more as you move away further from the center. And like at the beginning, you can only zoom out a certain amount. And then as you progress, like you can get to a point where you're like like a satellite, basically. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That'd be
That would be
cool.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I think a lot of the issues that you described, like kind of having to scan a lot, could be solved super easily by like a search functionality, like similar to the way they have the passive tree point system in the passive tree, right? Where you just type up something, like let's say you just type in like fire and then press enter, and you're just gonna jump to all the different fire nodes on the passive tree. Dude, if that was in the end game, that would make the end game so much better, dude. Like you could just search up
Oh yeah.
like epitaph if you want to do epitaph maps, and then boom, it's just gonna bring you to
Yes,
every single
yes.
one that you have, and then you just get to those ones. It's like stuff like that is
Yeah,
so
that'd be really good.
small and so close to being in the game already. Like it's yeah, we're very very close.
Yeah. Another problem I have with this in-game map thing, by the way, is that whenever I fucking open it, I have to wait like 5 seconds for a loading screen. Sometimes it takes like 10 seconds, and sometimes I literally just it never loads and I have to restart my game. It's like so bad.
Yeah, and I would imagine that they would have to do some serious optimization of some kind to make it so that it would load faster and have the ability to zoom out as well seamlessly. Like that is the stuff I
Yeah.
do not envy them to try
Yeah.
and figure out, because dude, and the game
Yeah.
used to be like that on launch too. Like I don't know if you remember in 0.1, like even just opening the map in like Clearfill would take like a minute sometimes to like get the
Oh
map
yeah.
to
I
work.
think that got better though.
It
That
did.
got better.
It did. It works
Yes.
flawlessly now. They did a great job. So they can obviously cook that up. It's just yeah, there's a lot to load. Like it must be crazy programming wise and
Yeah,
developer
yeah.
wise.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've played Witch for quite a while in the game, but have moved over to like Mercenary. You did like the guide for Mercenary, which was really, really awesome. I loved your crossbow guide as well. What has been like your favorite build or like play style that you've tried so far?
So I think O.1 Demon Form was like probably less like interesting than grenades, but I also thought it was like amazing, and that you had to manage demon form a lot if you used demon form in like the campaign. Because you used to be able to go up to like 60 stacks and just like one shot bosses when you have 60 stacks. But if you did have 60 stacks, you'd be losing life even if you had your life loss going. So you had to like really manage how many stacks you were going to have at the boss and like when you're going to reset your stacks. So I thought that was like incredibly fun, the gameplay, like having to manage that so that you can get to a boss and just one shot it when you get there. Um, but then in like O.3, when I started playing grenades, grenades are like super hard to play, incredibly hard to play. I don't think there's anyone in the world who can play grenades at like 99% efficiency. Because you have to basically predict exactly where like a boss is going to move, and I think that's literally impossible because I think which attack they use is basically random. But yeah, I think grenades have like the highest skill cap, but I think demon form was like the most interesting thing that I've played.
That's super cool. Yeah, I've stayed the hell away from demon form because in hardcore it's like super sketch to like constantly be like edging yourself like into towards
Yeah,
dying
yeah, yeah.
basically. But it was really cool watching you play it, and just how quickly you could like achieve like a distance and moving through different zones and stuff like that. It is a very cool like kind of like mini game within the game, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's a real shame. They basically deleted like the thing that made Demon Form interesting, which was getting those high stacks. Now it's just you get to 10 stacks and you have a small degen. It's a lot less interesting now. It's a
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah, that I feel like they got to work that back in, because like it's kind of like what you said, like that was like more of a unique sort of standpoint for the demon form, like the Infernalist Ascendancy. And speaking of grenades, like the way that I solved that issue, because I kind of noticed that playing grenades this league was like using pin. I don't know if you ever messed around with the tactician ascendancy at all, but like, oh my god, like pin is just absolutely insane, dude. It's so freaking strong.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you're yeah, yeah. Grenades are a lot easier in game because you kind of just one shot everything. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How are you feeling about the Ascension like methods right now? Like, are you a fan of like the Trial of Sekimas, Trial of Chaos? Like, are you a hater of it? Where do you stand on that?
Trial of Chaos, I absolutely hate. I'm never going to do that as long as there's no requirement for me to do it. Trial of Sycamours, I don't hate as much, but I would rather not do it. If I'm playing trade, I would just pay someone else to do it because I don't like doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that like the Trial of the Ancestors, having experience with that in PoE 1, would kind of solve any sort of issues you have with Ascension, being that it's completely different?
Trial of the Ancestors came out after I stopped playing P1, so I actually have no idea what that is, to be honest.
I
Yeah.
got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
My biggest problem with Trial of Sycamores, so I did like a casual run. Actually, in my HCSSF Arbiter run, that's when I did the casual run.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed Trial of Sycamores. So I think that made me realize why I hate it. And I'm pretty sure I hate it because it's really, really hard to be efficient in Trial of Sycamores when you're selecting your room. Because you have to look at all the rooms and like, if I go to this room, then I have to go to this room next. And if I go to that room, then it's going to be an hourglass room. So it's like going to be really slow. And I think that's why I don't like it. But if I'm just playing through it casually, I don't mind it actually.
True. I guess that's a great point actually. The way that you're interacting with the like game at the time can completely change your perspective on everything. I think that's a perfect example where like if you're not trying to blast through the Trial of Sekimas at the most efficient speed, I think it actually can be pretty fun unless you get like screwed over by RNG and get really bad debilitating debuffs in there. But yeah, no, I started off as a big hater of it because playing as a warrior in 0.1, you just kind of felt like you got fucked over. Like you had no honor. Like the honor.
Oh yeah, because you're melee.
Yeah, and you're taking so much damage. This is before they nerfed the amount of honor that you, or they improved the amount of honor that you would lose as a melee user or as a like using armor, I guess. And so it literally felt like impossible. Like I had to basically respec my whole build. I was using like Sunder and Resonating Shield, and I ended up putting on Molten Blast, which is like the ranged ability,
Wow.
just so I could stay at range and not get hit. It took me like probably 5 or 6 tries to do because melee just wasn't it for it.
I mean, that sounds kind of fun. You had to change your whole build. It's like
to solve a problem.
required a bit of workaround. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was cool to it was cool to see that GGG had added in a ranged attack for two-handed maces or like maces in general, like just to give us another option to play the game differently. I've never used it since.
I don't even know what that skill is. I've never heard of it. There's a ranged attack that you can use with two-handed maces?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, you like swing your mace and it like shoots out, like it's kind of like rolling magma almost. You like shoot out these like balls of magma out of your mace. It's fascinating actually. I saw a few people do like hilarious not, I wouldn't quite label them as meme builds, but like builds where they would like use like double two-handed maces and scale like insane attack speed, and then use Molten Blast with Nova projectiles. You know how Nova projectiles basically made it so that it came out of a circle around you? And they would just be like swinging these maces and just fireballs were just shooting out of them.
That sounds awesome.
It was pretty badass. I think DM ran one of those builds last league. It was pretty cool. On like a Deadeye or something.
Man, I need to look at this skill. It sounds OP.
You should, yeah, maybe you can cook with it, man. You could definitely check it out. There's a lot of skills like that in the game, though, where like they kind of get, not kind of, they get outshined by so many other better options. Like, you know, if you want to play projectile range, like the first skill that comes to your mind is it's not going to be Molten Blast, which is probably why you haven't heard of it. So is there anything that's coming to the game that you're looking forward to the most?
That's going to come to the game in the future, you mean?
Yeah, like it could be new acts, it could be new classes, weapons, content, anything that like really is like, fuck, I can't wait for that.
Okay. So I think that swords and axes are really going to change the campaign meta, because I think one of them, if you look at the nodes on the tree, it says like you get onslaught when you kill a mob with that or something. Like I think that's axes that says like get onslaught on kill with it if you attack with an axe or something like that. So I think one of those ones is going to like completely change the campaign racing meta. In terms of like actual content, I think Delve. I'm hoping Delve takes Temple a step further, and that like you can scale your character to obscenely high levels and get rewarded for it. Because it has infinite depth and difficulty is the idea of Delve, right?
Yeah, I feel like Delve kind of would solve your issue, and a lot of people's issues with like the aspirational content, like pushing your character to the absolute limit. I've never actually tried Delve before. I think I did it once when I played PoE one, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing in here. But yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, it's the spaghetti, bloated spaghetti of PV1. Too many things.
yeah, I didn't really give it the time of day to be honest. But I feel like from what I've heard, the people who enjoy Delve are like such diehard fans of that particular piece of content. So I think it definitely belongs in PoE two as well.
Yeah, I think Delve is going to be really good if they get it right.
Yeah. In terms of like your own play style and stuff like that, would you describe it as sort of like you're comfortable with like the way that you engage with the racing in terms of your skill with the mercenary, or are you going to be always looking to adapt like new attack and new play styles, maybe even a new class, if that's like the meta at the time?
So the racing meta is usually defined by the top players, and that whatever the top players are playing, that's what always looks like the best build. Because
Hmm.
basically, the way I found grenades was basically just because Whole New Society was getting good times on his grenade. So I was like, oh shit, grenades are good. That's how I figured out grenades are good, because Whole New Society was playing it and getting good times.
Hmm.
Imagine if Angormus didn't pop off on Warrior. Everyone would think Warrior's complete dog shit. There's no way Warrior could ever be good for racing.
Hmm.
But thanks to Angormus, now we know Warrior is like OP as fuck.
Yeah. So if one of your peers, racing peers, maybe in 0.5, 0.6 and beyond, comes up with some new tech, you're totally open to being like, yo, how do I adapt that, or even like shift my like play style completely to like achieve what they're achieving and beyond.
Yeah, 100%. So like 0.1, I played Witch because I just wanted to go for a demigod, because like that was the first ever demigod, right? So I needed to make sure I get a demi. Then 0.2, I just went to Rake, Stomping Ground, and Warrior to try and go for the W. I didn't get it, but that's why I changed. And then 0.3 again, I changed to Mercenary to go for the W, and I got a W that time. So, and I'll change again if the next best thing is a different thing other than grenades.
Yeah, it kind of seems like if you want to be competing with races at the highest level, you have to be super in tune with like what the best possible like strategies and metas are, and it's probably pretty cool. You probably like talk to all of your homies on the side and share tips and tricks. Is there any like secrecy leading up to races that you guys end up like
A
kind of?
100%, yeah,
Yeah, you guys have to kind of keep
yeah.
your strategies on lock until the race day and stuff.
Wait, sorry, what did you say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like leading up to the races, is it kind of like I'm not even gonna stream, I'm not even gonna like showcase what I've like been cooking up, like that kind of vibe?
Well, it's like I want to stream, and I also want to keep it secret, so it's kind of like a battle between the two, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's a hard decision. Should I stream or should I keep it secret? I am actually doing some secret stuff at the moment off stream, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like you kind of have to in order to maintain that sort of competitive edge to a certain degree. You guys are all
Yeah,
playing at such a high level, so yeah, I feel like
yeah.
every piece of tech matters, every little thing matters, right?
Like, if Whole New Society didn't stream before the races, I would have never started playing grenades, and he would have gotten all the wins.
That's actually kind of crazy. And it is
Yeah,
sort of a dilemma, right? Because, you know, those moments leading up to the races, as you mentioned, are some of the peak like times for viewership, I would imagine, for people who are really good at racing. And so like you're almost foregoing that potential viewership or growth for your channel in order to get the dub in the race. But
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's tricky, man. That's a tricky dynamic to manage.
yeah.
Okay, so do you have any like super hot takes about either PoE game? I know we talked about a lot of your takes, but is there anything that you have?
I
Is there
think I've
anything
already said some hot takes.
I mean, I don't think being bad at the campaign is a reason why you don't like it. I think that's a pretty like common take for the most part. Do you have any other like hot takes about the game, like that you want to share that maybe get you like I don't know, get
Uh,
you chatting
I
with your
mean,
chatters and on Twitch?
I think I've said like every take that I think would be hot. I mean, I think PoE1 is trash because it's bloated hot garbage. PoE1 used to be good, but over the time they've just done 50 different league mechanics, and they've tried to put like half of them into the game, and now there's fucking 30 league mechanics in the game,
Mhm.
and it's just spaghetti at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've already said all my hot takes there.
That makes sense. Yeah, we've gone through quite a few. In terms of PoE one, just as sort of like an end off about the PoE discussion. So there's been some sort of contention right now about the like longevity of the first game. As PoE two continues to develop, improve, and get better, what do you see in terms of your own opinion for the future of PoE one? Do you think it's going to be slowly put down? What are your thoughts about it?
I think they're just going to keep releasing leagues, and the game will slowly die over time. I think it's going to take a very, very long time for it to fully die, though.
Hmm. Yeah. I know there's been sort of this general sort of discussion right now about like will PoE 1 die because of PoE 2? And I honestly don't think it will, man. I think that PoE 1 has sort of established itself as like a timeless game for people. And the way I look at it is the same way I look at like Diablo 2. Even though Diablo 2 came out like 25 years ago, people are still in that bitch playing the shit out of that game. Like, as long as there's servers up, people will still be playing Diablo 2. And that's kind of the same way that I view PoE 1 as well. Like, of course, Blizzard has made multiple sequels up to this point, but, the love for that classic title will forever exist.
Yeah, I haven't actually looked at PoE1 player numbers over time. Has it gone down since PoE2 came out?
That's a great question. I think just generally speaking, and I could be completely wrong about this, maybe chat can correct me, but as far as I know, PoE 2 has just had higher players overall since like it came out over PoE 1.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely true.
Yeah.
I haven't really paid any attention to PoE1 because I don't really care about PoE1 anymore.
That's fair. I mean, you're
But
not
yeah,
interested in it, so why would you pay attention, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that makes sense. Okay, so just a few more closing questions, man. I don't want to take up too much of your time tonight. But yeah, it's been awesome having you on the pod, dude. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, it's been fun, dude. Okay, so
Yeah.
I know that your content creation journey has been a pretty short, relatively speaking, compared to people who've been doing content creation for like a decade and whatnot. I just wanted to ask if you had any highlights, anything that sort of stood out to you in terms of like big moments that you could speak about.
I think when I got the first race dub I ever got, that was a big moment. I got like heaps of people rating me. That was pretty sick. I think the biggest highlight is yet to come, which is going to be the less than 24-hour level 100 attempt next week. Because we're going to have, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Ziggy D and a couple of other people are going to be commentating that probably as well. So I think that's going to be amazing.
Oh, I didn't know that. So it's going to be fully like covered or not. I guess they won't be live for 24 hours, but they'll be like discussing it live as you guys are doing it, basically.
Yeah, so it's going to be split up into 3 days. So we're going to do 8 hours a day. And it's going to be the commentary stream, which will be like Ziggy D and Crimson and maybe someone else. It's not like 100% confirmed, but at the moment, that looks like what's going to happen.
Cool. Sounds like you guys are cooking up a pretty sick event for next week, man. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other things that stand out to you in the time between the demigod, the first demigod win and this event that kind of stood out to you as being like, damn, like this is a sick moment for the content, streaming and whatnot?
On League launch, I was very surprised by like how many people came in and said like they found my content useful. Like I didn't put any effort into the content I made. I just kind of made it really quick to get it out there, and a lot of people enjoyed it. So I was
It
pretty surprised by that.
it's such a nice feeling to have people say that. Like as somebody who just got recently into YouTube as well, like even hearing like someone come into my stream and be like, "Yo, Blaze, like I used your build and it got me like the farthest I've ever gotten hardcore." I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" Like that's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I know what you mean. Like those are like, I think every time that happens, it's like a highlight for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. This is a deep one. But I know you got this. So, how have video games impacted your life, and what do video games mean to you?
Oh man. So I mean, I've been playing video games my whole life. When I was like 16, I want to say, I was doing a PV1 race, and I had to play for like 30 hours for the final push. and my friend wanted to hang out the next day. And I was like, yo, okay, I'm gonna be sleeping at like 5 a.m. after a 30-hour push, but we can hang out. Because my friend was Japanese and he was gonna go back to Japan like the next day or something. So we really needed to hang out. And I ended up, doing the 30-hour push, sleeping at like 5 a.m. and then just fucking completely oversleeping.
Mm.
And he was just waiting for me for like 3 hours. And I was like, oh shit, I really fucked up. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'm gonna stop playing so many video games. So yeah, that's like the first thing where I had like a battle between playing video games and like in real life stuff.
Okay, and that was
In
after
terms of
Japan, right? Like after Japan.
no, that was before. That was before I ever went to Japan. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah. He's like that friend is like one of the reasons I went to Japan.
oh, that's super cool. And that was a homie that you met in New Zealand who I guess moved
Yeah.
over there from Japan. From Japan. Oh, that's sick. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a negative. That's definitely a negative
Yes.
impact.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're gonna say something else. I interrupted you.
I can't remember. I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Okay. But would you say that as sort of a follow up, that gaming has provided you with more positives than negatives as a secondary question?
It's so hard to measure my life without video games because I've been playing video games my entire life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard to know.
Yeah. No, I'm the same with you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would be a completely different person, right? Like, I wouldn't even be the same person. I would just be a completely different person. You wouldn't even be able to know that it's me if there was like a version of me that never played video games.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one thing that wasn't video games that like you could get like obsessively into, like kind of the way that you've been like into video games for your whole life, like I have as well, like would there be anything that stood out to you as like sort of a passion or interest from your life that you would be like, yeah, I probably could have done. I probably could have got into glass blowing obsessively. I don't know. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah. Anything?
Would probably be programming.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like outside of video games, I like studied computer science at university and did programming stuff for work. So I think like, that's just what I would be going all in on if I wasn't playing video games.
Yeah. And I feel like there's already like a crossover between like being a programmer and being a gamer too. So you probably would have, even if you didn't play games, you probably would have got back into games down the road. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like impossible to avoid at this point.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we did it. We wrapped it up. Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much again for coming on today. It's been an absolute blast. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we end off the pod?
I think I'm all good. Thanks for inviting me. It's been a lot of fun.
Excellent, man. Yeah, if you want to, at this point in time, for those of you who don't know, just shout yourself out. Where can we find you? And yeah, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so you can find me at twitch.tv/guythatdies_ or youtube.com/@guythatdies.
All right, guys. As always, there will be links in the description. We actually talked about a lot of stuff, campaign codex and whatnot. So yeah, there'll be links to a lot of stuff in the description. Thank you so much for watching. If you watch on Twitch, I appreciate you guys. And if you watch on the YouTube VOD, I appreciate you as well. And we will see you in the next one. Peace. All right, everybody. That wraps it up for this episode of the Passive Tree Podcast. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe for more PoE2 content. I have a bunch more episodes of the podcast lined up with some really great guests, so keep your eyes peeled for that. If you're interested in supporting the podcast and the channel, consider supporting through Patreon. There's a link in the video description. A special shout out to Kevin F. for supporting this channel. I appreciate you. Thank you. And until next time, happy blasting, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.